Hey, sorry about that. I had the worst bout of technical issues. Let's see if it'll work. Basically, I messed up and I shouldn't have scheduled this via chart. I should have done that with OBS. But in any case, thank you so much for being here, everyone. Let's start this. I'm going to do some talking, then we'll go to the desk. The technical problem is this. This is the best angle I can set up right now, unfortunately. I cannot flip the camera. The camera is upside down. Cannot flip it. I'm used to doing it in OBS. I used to be able to do it here on StreamYard. I don't know what's up. Very annoying. So we'll see. So my tripod is a little limited in how much it can rotate on one end. On the other, it can go perfect, but that means it comes from the front, and then I reverse it in the software, which I've done that way so far. But in any case, I'm gonna get rid of that for now. Say hi to everyone who's here, like RK Fab Art, thank you so much. Doing kind of okay. Things not working really well, and I do want to get to the demo as soon as I can because we're gonna lose daylight, so I'm gonna do my best. Hey Mary Beth, thank you so much for being here. Much appreciated. Hey Regenerator, how are you doing? Let me close off Photoshop. I don't need it right now. It slows me down. Hey, Art by Richard, thank you for being here. Hey, Buck, sorry, jumped on me. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been very inconsistent due to holidays and the move and everything, but thank you so much. Hey, Sujanith, how are you doing? Hey, Kristen from Rhode Island. Nancy, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. You meant to? We'll see what you meant to say. Hey, Judd, how are you doing? Hey, Lel. Yeah, so we can get started. Look, what I'm going to do is switch over to this layout. I'm going to change my mic. I'm going to have to test it out. Hey, Patty, how are you doing? I'm going to test out the mic to make sure you can hear me over there. Let me actually do that now just to kind of confirm audio. I'm going to switch over. The sound's going to be worse, but I want to test if I'm audible at all. So I switched it over. Now let me listen to myself. It's going to take a few seconds for the delay. And then we'll get to it. It's going to be fun. Like I do have a very fun. Yeah, okay, good. We're going to get good. Okay, so we're hearing it. So I'm going to go over to the desk. If there's any issue, you let me know in the comments because that's pretty much, I can just go there. That's pretty much where I'll see it. And yeah, you won't really see my face, but that's fine. Sorry about that. So hopefully you can hear me well once again. I am going to rearrange it so that I'm only using this small palette so that you're actually looking at something. I don't know why the colors are so off, actually. Can I fix that? I don't know why the color is so bland and so meh. That's strange. It usually doesn't do that, but okay, we'll figure it out. That's fine. Let me open up the reference for us. Layout. There we go. This is going to be number 1. So the idea is I'm going to look at your feedback here through my monitor. Hello, Romeric. Hello, Linda. Sharon, hey. I'm going to look at the monitor to get your feedback on how much you can hear me. Let's see if I can get the camera to at least show my face. Yeah, so now at least you see me through here, that's fine. Yeah. So there we are. What I wanted to actually do is, should I just move the entire thing? I don't know. Hey, Sharzad, sorry, it's hard to see here. It's a small writing. Should I just, I'm wondering if I should, I don't like it. It has no role, just ignore it. I'm gonna do this, there we go, so that you can actually see what I'm painting. Yeah, Rafael, I am Israeli. So let's do this. You let me know if there's any issues, sound, etc. But we're going to jump into it. I want to show you how you can take basically an idea like this car over here and develop it into something interesting. Now, because of the limitations, technical issues, and the fact that the colors look really, really bad, what I'm going to do is probably keep things a little monochromatic. I won't go too much into colors, just if I feel like it. But what I want to show you is how, again, with a bit of creativity and just free exploration, you can turn a lot of different reference photos into something very interesting to paint. By the way, I think I can show you my face through here. There we go. So yeah, we'll just explore. And we'll start with this first Suzuki car. So let me fix my screens. I want to see both the chat and my reference properly. There we go. Okay, good. I haven't studied in Bezalel. Nope, I have not. I studied everything by myself, basically. So yeah, there and skin look very realistic, yeah, on the paper. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, Nancy and John, thank you so much for that. Yeah, I'll show you a bit of it if you want later on. I'll show it to you on the better camera, but yeah, it's a very interesting painting. I'm gonna get started here. We'll see where it goes, how it goes. I know the angle's a little lame, but that's good. So let me make sure you can see everything I'm doing. Yeah, that's good. So I'm just going to play some lines, and I have been asked about, you know, how I draw cars accurately. It's going to be a little hard to see probably, but that's fine. And I don't really have a method, so to speak. What I like to do is either trace if I really want some accuracy, or I'm kind of going with my gut. I do have this thing that I want to use for the angle. Give me a second. And again, if you all of a sudden can't hear me, can't see me, you'll let me know. You'll be my eyes, because I don't know. I just see the video in delay. So yeah, whenever one technical thing doesn't work, it's a cascade effect, and then nothing works, which is very annoying to me right now. But that's fine. So there we go. Sorry about the sucky angle. We'll do a better one next week when I get a hold of when I get a grip over the setup. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, so this goes down like that. So we have a bunch of perspective lines, but to me, I'm doing these things very intuitively. So I'm not really going to follow everything I'm seeing using guidelines. I'm just kind of going with the flow and how I feel. Plus the setup. This setup makes me very disoriented. So expect some minor inaccuracies here. So this is going to move all the way to here, all the way to there. And it's annoying because I was really looking forward to this live stream. I really wanted to do this demo because I had some very interesting ideas about drawing cars that I wanted to share with you. Not cars necessarily as the subject of cars, but more like how to use your creativity to bring to life a subject matter and exploring while you paint, because that's one of the things that I'm starting to really enjoy. Let me zoom in a bit. Let's see how much I can get away with. Yeah, okay. So maybe I'll just paint rotated. There we go. It's not going to be the most convenient way, but it's going to work. Maybe it'll produce an interesting result, if nothing else. Let me see here. I don't know why this is wobbly. It didn't do that. It did not do that yesterday. I don't know. Whatever. If I had done this with OBS, all of my problems right now would not happen. This is so frustrating. Okay. But here goes. I can't even look at my own monitor in the camera. Man, this is like, I cannot explain to you how much has gone wrong in setting up the stream. It's the worst I had. Let's see. Thank you, Nancy. It's Hexen, the Heron's Killer. Yeah, right. And you, Dan, hi, Liron, and everyone else. Why do I get a call now? Of all times, just give me a second. Otto. Ken. כן, אני פשוט תוכלו לחזור אליי עוד שעתיים? עוד שעתיים תוכלו לדבר איתי? אין לי, אני ממש באמצע כאילו לייב. זה כאילו, מה השאלה? אוקיי. הבנתי. תני לי רגע. חכי רק שנייה בבקשה. תודה. Okay, sorry about that. I'm just gonna paint. I won't try to improve the setup anymore. It's okay. So, I'll do my best to narrate, then we'll chat a bit. Thank you. No, it's just annoying because I wanted to do a bunch of stuff, but fine, whatever. So let me show you what I mean by exploring. I'm going to stop here with the drawing. I don't care about adding more details right now necessarily. What I do want to show you, I'll have to zoom out just a bit. I want to show you the mixing area. So what I do want to show you is how I kind of think of connections and working almost impromptu in a way. So sometimes I honestly just like to start with, placing some paint on the paper, like that, and almost look at it and see what it does. There is no real purpose to it. Some water even, just clean, And then I see, okay, I have a nice border here. So, and I do have a dark background, so why not start feeding that in? So I'm just grabbing some dark paint and kind of letting it almost do its thing. Now, due to the mild angle, it's just going to get closer and closer to the car. Now, when you do let the paint to do its thing like that, it does show in interesting ways, because a lot of the time, it is really about moving out of its way. So the less I tend to force it, the better and cleaner of an impression I can get. So right now I do feel like the window is a little cooler, so I want to convey that. So I'm just going to place some cool colors like this. Let them again seep in. That's fine. Then I'm going to continue with the background here. It's not going to move too much. Once you gain somewhat of a basic understanding of how this works, the paint usually will not do things you don't expect it to do, but it is about just knowing a bit about how it works. Even with all this debris from my water bucket, I'm just going to clean it. I don't know why it happens sometimes after a day that I didn't paint. But in case, yeah, now so I have some opaque paint here, leftovers. I don't know, let's use that. There is no real purpose here. I'm just going to start putting it in where the headlights are, where the license plate is. And it's this way where you can almost work your way through discovering the shapes, the impression you're after, and you'll be surprised at the things that can happen when you do that. That's mainly my point. Now, the thing with watercolor is water. The more time you want to give it, the more water you're going to use. And that's pretty much as I mentioned, the only real rule of watercolor painting. If you can understand how the water and paint work in terms of water to paint ratio, you're good. Now I'm going to spray over the whole thing just for fun. You can tilt it too, just because of the setup, I'm not doing too much, but you can grab it, tilt the paper, let it move in whatever direction you want. Now, what this does, and I'm going to add a warm shadow. Why? Because, I don't know, no real reason. what this does is it almost forces you to, it's almost like jumping in the water and then you're forced to swim. You're putting some stuff on paper and then you're almost just seeing what happens on paper and working based on that. There isn't really, again, a how-to in this kind of an approach, or it's not even an approach, because if I call it an approach, it turns into a technique. It's more like, the approach of no approach, like I talked to you about before, again. So if you're able to see things this way, and you jumped into water, now it's all about what are you going to do with what's going on paper. So for example, I can grab a bunch of this paint and start putting it in here and see what's going to happen if I drip it into the shadows, or the shadowy side of the car, rather, right? So I'm going to drip it in here, then go around the headlights. I can sometimes use this opportunity to divide it into light and shadow, which what I see here is this is the shadow. Even though I started initially by working around the headlights, now I just kind of painted over them. You can lift if you want. You can do a bunch of stuff. And you're kind of just working with whatever the paint gives you, so to speak. A lot of the time, we tend to search for something that isn't really there. But if you just work with whatever the paint gives you, you will end up with interesting results. Like this painting, between the two processes, I'm gonna take a break and show you the painting once again. And you'll see what I mean. Like the way I worked on it was so indescribable, simply because I really, really don't know exactly what I did. I just kind of followed my vision. And it's okay if you're not at a point where you feel like you'll do that very easily, that's fine. But sometimes it's a matter of doing it, and then you know how to do it. There's no real, there's nothing really that stops you from doing it, but maybe you just never tried, is the point. I'm going to add a bunch of shadows here. One thing I've been enjoying is to almost go away from it, ironically enough, just an impression, and trying to sometimes, it's totally not what I'm doing right now, but to try and indicate what I'm seeing almost as literally as I can, but without the simplification, without the symbolism. Like with no symbolic people, no nothing. Just truly look at the shapes and try to convey what I'm seeing there, right? I'm going to show you a different process for the next car. You'll see it's going to be interesting. I have an interesting vision for that now that I'm a bit out of the technical difficulties area. I can show you. Now I'm going to lift just very gently here over the tire. And then I'm going to lift very gently around here, like so, just to show a bit of reflected light. And I can probably lift a bit here. Now you see this wet look that we get here. This is a big part of what makes watercolor so beautiful. The fact that everything is a little watery. And very often, again, it's easy to lose that effect if you're trying to shape them into doing something very specific. Whereas instead, you can almost let them do their thing. I'm going to look at some of your comments in a second. I'm sorry about that. It's not comfortable in this setup to do both simultaneously. I'm going to bring back the taillights just a bit. You see, it starts to look like something interesting. Now, the one thing it's lacking in is some kind of a definition up top there that I kind of missed. I let that just happen. I am going to mix a lot of the things I have here. Sorry, I know you can't see the mixing actually. So now you're going to see a bit more of it. I'm going to mix some kind of a warmth here. I really cannot begin to explain how many technical difficulties I had while setting this up. It was a nightmare. Never had that kind of a thing happen. So many limitations, nothing worked. But yeah, so this is, yes, it is almost dry. But you see, that's where following the rules doesn't get you anywhere really, because I'm going to play around with it and see how much almost I can stretch that timing. Because there is a dark fence kind of a thing here. And by the way, you can find all the reference photos in the description. I have links to everything. But I'm going to see how much I can play around with it. So then the fence or whatever it is kind of switches into a lighter, kind of a gray. And then I'm going to You see, I'm just reaching at colors fully at random. It goes lighter here, kind of like that. But we got this kind of a beginning of a definition. Now, don't be mistaken. This is super loose, right? There's nothing here that is adhering to the impression in any way. But I'm just trying to show you the exploration aspect to it and how not necessarily just fun it can be, because it's not necessarily even just about fun, but it's more about the discovery of things. So we have this kind of a recycle bin type of thing here. So I want to show that with strong orange. There we go. And over the fence, I mean, I can put something there. It's not really important. I can put some details here. But that's going to be our starting point for this. We're going to let it sit, I think, for a few moments. It's funny, now that I look, the ground is even darker than the fence here. So what I can do is, instead of darkening the ground, I'm going to lift the fence. Good morning, Jacqueline. How are you doing? I'm going to lift a bit of that, make it a little lighter. If you really want aggressive lifting, you just go ahead and lift with a paper towel or something like that. And then I can go ahead and just very gently darken the sidewalk. So get it to be a little darker than the wall. And we're going to let this one dry. I'm going to take a break, but look at these beautiful effects, right? So these are the things you really cannot achieve if you're just trying to force the paint to do whatever you want. And we can let it dry and then add some more accurate layers. Let me take a break, bring it back to the main desk camera, whatever. I'll show you this up close. I'll show you the new painting. Then we'll move on to another demo. Sorry about the messiness here, but that's life. So just give me 1 second. And we'll do, I can actually just place it there. Audio. Okay. Yes, so we're back to the default mic. Now the audio quality should improve. I'm actually going to place the painting here. So we can look at it as it dries. And then let's do this. And I can show you this one, but we'll continue in a second. But just to show you, it looks much better in real life, like everything I paint. Much better than the scans, much better than everything I uploaded on social media. That's just how it is. Let me, if I'm already doing this, let me show you the scan just to the side as we're talking. So I will open it up, work, painting projects, and then I'll go over your comments. Sorry about that. I did want to get to them earlier. Final downsized. Okay, good. And then I can probably just share this screen and you will see it. Share screen, window. There we go, share. Okay, good. So I believe you're seeing it now, seeing everything. And yeah, this painting is something very interesting. I can zoom in so you can see more. But it definitely looks better, more vibrant, more interesting, more nuanced in real life. I'll show you a bit more of the real life in a few seconds. But let me go over your comments. Sorry about that. I'm going to go back a bit, make sure I don't miss anything. Let's see here. Hey, Patty from Texas. Thank you for being here. Sharon, Mumbai, Linda. Hey, again, Romeric. Hey, Rafael, again. Sorry about that. Sorry I missed your messages earlier. Thank you so much, John. See you from to go. Not sure what. So you're gonna go outside and watch me there. Hey, Ahir. Yeah, Rafael. Just to expand on that, I didn't go to any like design or art school. I learned everything by myself because I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted just watercolor. There was no real reason to get a degree for me. Maybe in the future. Right now, it's not. I just didn't need it. Thank you, Nancy. Good morning in Uden. Good morning, afternoon. Tiny place called Sikkim in India. Cool. Hey, my name. How are you? Hillel. Maybe the reference photo rotate a bit. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'll You see, so with this setup, it's impossible to do that. I should I should just do it with OBS. I learned for now. Yeah, sorry about that. I can't do that. I'll rotate the page itself. Sorry. Pixie Cup looks fine. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Charizard, everything is perfect. No worries. Thank you so much. It will work out. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Art by Richard. Was Suzuki Celerio 2012 exported beyond the third world? They're cute. Also got a weird history. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the history. Is it that car? Is it for sure the car we've been painting? I don't see. I see some of them here, but I'm not sure it's the same model. I don't know. I'll have to actually look at what it says to verify. I love painting cars and I know nothing about them. So sorry about that. Asks Kaio Kendo. Vespa for Jen. Oh wow, you always make magic. Thank you. Yeah, it's a big mess, but it is a bit of a magic. I want to show you how just the aspect of doing something that is um, discovering in the moment. It is really no plan, just doing it, starting to do it, see what it gives you, and then continuing there. Um, Paint or die, Liron, it's your apprentice. My friend, how are you? I recognize your profile pic just based on the one on Instagram. So thank you for being here. Right, it's the same one, just edited a little differently. Jacqueline, hey again. Lots of commissions before Christmas, which is a good. Yeah, definitely a good thing. Definitely. The UGG slippers look like mine. Yeah, I'm not surprised. They're very popular. So yeah. Hi, Fernando. No worries. Thank you so much. Happy to have you here. Linda, the palette is a Mission Gold. It has a bunch of colors in it, but as you've seen, I've been using a kind of a neutral tint, quinacridone rose, phthalo blue, and the opaque paint is John Brilliant, which is basically a titanium white that's gone a little more opaque than usual. So yeah, very random colors, and that's exactly the thing with this kind of exploration. There is no real accurate color use. Let me turn back to solo like this. As for the other car, I have this one. I have an, oh, great. It didn't export it with a transparent background. How nice. So I'm going to have to edit that in a second. But yeah, I don't know why that happened. I probably saved it as a JPEG. But for this one, I have an interesting strategy. So I think you'll like it a lot. I'm going to show you also a process of discovery. But it's going to be a little more interesting. Let's see what else you're saying, and I will kind of try and edit it real quick simultaneously. That's so annoying. I had some very concrete ideas as to what I wanted to express, and I kind of lost my train, but that happens. I had a couple of days with very challenging and rough paintings that didn't go my way, by the way, and then this one came up with the shoe rack, and then it was such a moment of success finally after a lot of failed experiments. So I was quite stoked about that. Let me get rid of the wrong photo. Delete, and we're going to add the correct one. Hopefully this one will work. Now, which file is it? PNG. Okay, so this should be good. In the meantime, let's see. Jacqueline, I use OBS. It's awesome. You just need to get better lighting and mics. Yeah, same here. The natural light, nothing beats it, really. So here's the next car. Nothing beats natural light. So to me, I won't even try to get artificial lighting because I don't like it as much. Vixel Nix, hi, all good morning from Canada. Thank you for being here. Charlene Hansen, hello from Michigan. Thank you for being here as well. Viba Cray, no, very nice, simple sketch with coloring. I think that's what you meant. Yes, indeed. So if we look at, let's do this. Let's get rid of that. I want to see if I can kind of, yeah, full screen it. Yeah, so it's very interesting. It's just kind of going with the flow here. The idea is, can we be aware of what's going on at the paper in the moment of painting without having necessarily a big plan in advance? That's the kind of thing I want to show you. Now, with this next car that we're going to do, I want to try something a little different. I want to really follow that beautiful contour of the shadow on the windshield and then move into the blues underneath. I love that sharp transition in contrast. So that's another thing we're going to look at. And yeah, I think maybe we can just get to it, see how it goes, and then we'll take it from there and keep chatting. And if you want me to show you something specific, you just let me know. So I'm going to remove the solo layout. Going to leave this car on. And what I'm going to do is switch my mic over back to the camera mic because I'm going to go there. And here we go. So we should be good. If you cannot hear me, you let me know. So we'll move on to the next one. Okay. So I'm going to attempt, let's see if I can move the angle so it makes more sense. So if I have the paper like that, so I'll need to sketch kind of like this for you to be able to follow me. I don't know if I'll manage that. I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave it like that for now. Sorry about that. We'll fix it for next time. I'm gonna sketch like this. This is the only choice I have right now. So let's see what we can do here. Okay. Let's build a frame for the entire thing. Like an envelope. That angle. This goes up here, a little shorter. This almost intersects with this bottom. Ruth is having a fun time barking at the window. Sorry about that. And this goes a little bit at an angle. My sketches, to be honest with you, are probably not super accurate, so you'll have to forgive me just because of the setup and how weird it's placed. So sorry about that. I actually want to sketch it a little larger. I was scared you won't be able to see the details, but let's see. I don't even have an eraser here handy. Let's see if I can find one. I lost it yesterday. It disappeared on me, and since then I have no idea where it is. You know what? That's fine. I'll wing it. So now you'll truly see what winging it means. So this goes like that. You make do with what you have. This is almost a straight line here. This connects to the edge, connects to the top, down here. I'm basically making everything a little wider. I know it's not the most graceful way to portray it. Again, you'll have to forgive me. So this is the top. This is the bottom here. My dog barks during live videos too. Yep, that's what they do. At least the audio-wise, the setup's okay, and her sound won't come through too much. So this is the front of the car. Here we have this Chevrolet kind of symbol. But most of these lines are just going to be here as very general guidelines. One more thing that I do want to get is that little shape here. That's quite important. And that's going to connect here and there. Goes like this and like that. So the tires are going to be at this angle. And we don't have too strong of a shadow. So let's get to it. I'm going to place that here, place the palette there. And actually now I can work at an angle. Now I have enough to refer back to. So it is going to work. Okay, let me get the camera closer so it can look a little more from above here. Again, sorry for the lame setup for now. I will fix it. OBS would have solved everything, like every problem I ran into, OBS would have solved with zero effort. which is why I feel so silly for not using OBS. But in any case, let's get to it. So I'm going to start with this darkness. I don't know why. I love that kind of a thing. It's going to be a mix of this dark color I have, just some kind of a neutral black. And I'm going to add a bit of lemon yellow. So I'm going to, in effect, mix this nice little, almost a green, but a very neutral one. And I can use my trusty test paper just to see what it looks like, compare it to the reference photo, and to me that works. So I'm going to get to business here and get started by painting this shadow here. Now the main attraction of this is that transition from light to dark. Now I'm using a fairly light value right now. It looks maybe a little dark on camera, but it's quite light. If you're keen and you're focused on my mixing too, you'll notice it. That is fine. I find that it's sometimes easier to start lighter and wetter paint, and then to slowly make it darker. We do have that frame. I'm going to get that in. But you see how just when you start, you make a statement, and that kind of puts you in a place where you have to, quote unquote, take it from there. And I love that kind of a thing. I really enjoy that. Now, to continue this motif, so to speak, I'm going to expand that all the way to the top of the car. Now, the top is lighter. It has to be visibly lighter, for the simple reason I want to contrast it with the shadows here. So I am going to start placing it, and now look at this moment. This is my favorite moment. You just let the paints touch and mix together, and it tends to look really, really good. So I'm going to expand this blue onto pretty much everything here, because if you pay close attention, you'll notice that this isn't white. This is also a little blue, okay? Now, while everything is super duper wet, we can start working on this area that is still wet enough to edit. So I'm going to start implementing the darker darks, if you don't mind. Like so. And this is going to start giving it some depth. Now, while we're at it, one more thing we can start doing is, if we see that the colors spread out too much, we can either lift, or let me tell you, that's how I explore. What happens if I place water here? Will it just lighten it? Will it shift the color? I don't know, but let's test it out. What's the worst that can happen, you know? Water is always a good thing, as long as it's wet. As long as the paint is still a little wet, water can only really do good. So we're going from a slightly dark mid-value to a slightly lighter value here. And if you'll notice, there's a beautiful transition from light to dark here. We're going to catch that later on. For now, I do want to emphasize that this is lighter with some water. Coming back, putting in some water here. There we go. Now, one thing you can do is, while this is still wet, you can even start establishing this. And I do feel like it needs a bit more of the yellow to look a little on the green side. But this kind of a thing will make it look even more believable. And even though this is starting to dry, you can merge them and see kind of what happens. And that's a very interesting start for this car. Now we have a bit of a gray here up on the top, on the roof, so to speak. And we can also start adding a background if we want to. A bit on the green side. Just to bring out the lighter top section. And you can always end it with kind of a loose edge if you want to. Or with tons of water. It'll be good. Now, you see this point where we transition from a lighter blue to a dark blue. I'm going to bring in some ultramarine here. Do you usually paint wet on dry? Do you stretch your paper? It looks like heavy paper. I love the spontaneity. Thank you, Linda. This is not stretched. I never stretch, not out of principle. I just don't really see the need to do it, so I don't. As for your other question, do you usually paint wet on dry? Yes, I tend to start wet on dry, though not always. Not always. It's not a rule. It's just a preference that usually ends up working for me. So now I do want us to transition into a very blue color. So I'm just going to use a blue color here. And I don't mind it touching the area here where it's still wet. That could actually work in our favor. Like so. And then just bring in some more water. And you see how there's a lighter section here. So I'm going to feed this some more water just to make this section lighter. Gonna bring in some orange for the license plate. It's actually yellow, but this color tends to work really well for these kinds of things. Still muted though. And more into those blues, just to continue the structure of the car. But this is how I like to explore ideas and see what happens, basically. You can actually go ahead and fill in this bottom section with water, because what we'll do is while it's still wet, we'll still work into it. So, for example, these front windows, and I can later on add some highlights if I want to. This is quite dark already, but it's all about this kind of exploration of what happens on paper. You see, this allows you to almost work with watercolor the way they were meant to be worked with. Again, this kind of air quotes around it, because there is no real meant. There's just whatever you prefer to do. There's no rule once again, but I would say that there is a way to use them that really shows off their uniqueness. And that's something I like to make use of. So you see it's starting to take shape here. Now I kind of skipped this symbol. I'm just going to use some water over it. In fact, what I discovered is I could use my white gel pen over wet paint, and it actually looks quite nice. So just so you know, you can do that. And it will spread out kind of nicely. If you want to show some details off, but here we don't need to. There isn't too many highlights actually involved, but just so you know, you can do that. Now, some darks I would like to include here at the very bottom, like so. I'm going to connect the tires as well, just very darks here. And I'm going to use a gray, lighter gray in the middle section to connect the two. So let's see what I got here. Something like this, something like that. And with lots of water connected to the ground. And we still haven't even begun to do this right side area. So let's go ahead and do that. There are plenty of interesting highlights there. So I'm going to paint it the way I see it. See, even this is still kind of melting together with the previous line. The paint is almost fully dry, but not fully. And then this goes here, this window here, the mirror. I'm just kind of painting the details the way I see them. This connects here. This entire window is dark, then this is a little like so. And then directly switching into blue. And here I'm going to get that nice curve from before, so it's going to go to and back, around here, back into this. There's quite a lot of interesting highlights on the side of the car that we may want to get in a second. But for now, I'm just kind of exploring it. This should be kind of a gray. I can use the same blue if I want to. I'm going to leave this highlight. It's important because that's how you see where the mirror is. But you see, I'm kind of reacting to what's going on paper rather than trying to very actively dictate. There's a car here at the back that I can reduce to just a stain of color, if you will. Now, we can start working our way inside these reflections. So I do see some darkness within it. Now we can do that also once it dries. And maybe it will be better to do that once it dries, but let's just get some details in. We'll do another round once we work with the dry paint. But here we have these, I don't know what you'd call these, things that hold stuff. You have this thing here. This frame could be strengthened. Now, again, someone will tell you, don't touch this area. It's still not fully dry. I am familiar with levels of wetness, and I'm telling you it's okay. At this specific stage, we do have a strong dark here. Let's leave this highlight. I like it. We can start designing these shapes a little more if we choose to. That's the beauty of it. You can be selective with what you do choose to make more literal. To me, all of this is going to stay vague probably, but I want something to look literal. And just to show you and have some fun, we can probably already add this little line that goes from one side to another, just to give it some structure. I hope that makes sense. This is pretty much, you could say, 80% done, even though there's nothing here. I'm not going to put too much emphasis on the background, but just notice how nice it looks like that with just the idea of exploring. There is some nuances in the windshield. So this is a little darker down below. Or maybe that's something you want to get to improve the impression of a reflection. This should be a little darker. There's like a warmth from the car behind. So sometimes I'll put these things symbolically, but not with the goal of them being symbolic. So here's the car. 1, 2. Windshield up here. And that's a car, right? There's a shadow underneath it. Some details to the side, but that's pretty much it. Something like that. And then, of course, if we frame some darks around it, that's when we can really tell a story. See, leave a highlight up there. And the colors I'm using, again, are so non-graceful because I really don't care about the colors here. I care more about the exploration, so to speak. But I hope that gives you a good idea of what I'm talking about, what I'm doing. That was my goal with this entire experiment. It actually looks really interesting. Now, the more you can be focused and keep to your vision, obviously, the more interesting the result is going to get. Right now, I'm super, spread thin, and it's not obviously not as good as it can get. I'm going to get rid of the palette here. We're going to leave this in the focus of the camera, and I'm going to go back to the main camera. So there we go. I didn't even full screen it. Let me just do this. Good. So I hope that makes sense. Starting to get dark, so the colors are beginning to kind of fade away. Let's do. I'm gonna get rid of the layout here. 1 second. Hide this. There we go. I'd actually do this. Let's keep this one on the smaller screen. Once again, the colors look much, much better in real life. That's just how it is. But let me look at some of your comments here, and then we'll continue. Paula, hey, hello from Wisconsin. No snow here. I'm learning so much from you. Thank you so much for being here. Indeed. Painter, I'm surprised you don't put a first wash on the car, then coming out of the tree reflections on the window on the dark. Are you keeping the right side white or just glaze it lightly afterwards? Yeah, so I'm kind of doing a hybrid of everything. I really have no specific way of doing it right now. It's just let's put something on paper and almost force ourselves to see where we can take it. Now, to me, let me show you on the camera here. This, a lot of what's going on here is super interesting. And that's what I talk about when I mean jumping in the water and using the paint to its fullest potential. Right now, if I had been more focused, more oriented on the bigger picture, had everything prepared better in advance, the result would have been better. And I could have focused on the overall composition, added a more substantial background, added some more substantial details. I don't know why the camera here looks so bad. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe I just look bad. I have no idea. But yeah, whatever. Sorry about that. Fernando, Liron, sorry for off-topic question. What is English your first language? Let me actually go solo here so you don't see me blow my nose. What is English your first language? It's perfect. I heard you speak in another language on the last live. Just a curiosity. Yeah. You could have heard me talk a bit of Hebrew here today as well, because a bunch of people decided to call during the stream. Yeah, it's not my first language. It's my 1.5 language. I learned from a young age. I watched a lot of sitcoms. I have a nice perception for languages. Some of it is not really. I didn't really do anything to earn it, quote unquote. It's just languages come relatively easy for me. So yeah. Linda, as for what you said, yes, usually paint wet on dry, almost never stretch. It's not a heavy paper. It's 300 grams, by the way. I'm learning English. Yeah, it's cool. No, but you always I could never guess if you're a native speaker or not based on most of your messages, I think. So your English is great too. Now talking and writing may be different, but I mean it's not a big difference. Nancy looks really cool already. Discovery, I like this lesson. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I think the light is starting to fade, so that would be it in terms of painting demos for today. My apologies for that. Paula, so nice to see you back live. Did you move the time up? Yeah, just because of the light, because it's starting to get a little darker earlier. And it kind of fit my schedule a little better to do it this way. Vespa. And all this magic with only one brush. Yeah, I mean, that's to the contrary. I think it's easier to achieve all of that with one brush as opposed to a lot of brushes. That's what I think. Sometimes this simplicity really helps me. It's a matter of, again, a lot of it is personal, but to me, that simplicity really helps. Now, by the way, one more note. As much as I talk about, painting larger sometimes requires a bit more preparation and all of that, a lot of the details you see me painting here would be easier had I painted larger. It would be easier to separate the black from the blue. It would be easier to get the transitions I want. It would have been much, much easier. I hope to show you some more of that soon. That's what I hope to show you today, but I kind of messed it up, so sorry about that. But yeah. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Linda. M. Altman, when is your next critiquing stream? I don't know. I have no idea, honestly. I could do one real soon, but I'll need to gather all of the paintings that you sent me, and there's so much, and I made a big mess of them after doing it 6 or 7 times. A lot of things added up that I still haven't really added in an organized folder yet. But it will happen. I just don't know exactly when. Buck, I love what you're doing here and your technique and the technique you're demonstrating. Thank you. Amanda, good job. Thank you so much. Hillel, how detailed do you usually draw your pencil sketches before you move to watercolor? This is actually really indicative of how I do it. ממש ככה. ממש קצת עיפרון, זה לא צריך הרבה. If I do something a little more detailed like this thing, I will go a little more detailed on all the details I need. For example, for this one, I did draw lines for every stripe you see here, of course, on the tiles. That's definitely the level it comes to, as well as these small stitches here on the shoes. This is all things I sketch. If I'm working on a very developed piece, then yes, Roberto went for it. Hope that makes sense. Here, love your watercolor painting and sketching. Thank you so much. Nancy G, love the colors. Thank you, Nancy. Um, Sharon, excellent work, inspiring. Thank you so much. Hey, Jill, I love the frog emoji as always. Thank you for being here. Kristen, I'm in Israel. Painter Die, will you do a second wash details on the first car? I know it will pop. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. We can use the bit of light we have, maybe, to do that. Let's catch up with the chat and like 3 more messages, and we'll do that. Ryan T. Hi, everyone. Your the is also good around. This is a trouble spot for many people learning English. Yeah, I don't know. Sounds come a little easier to me. Same in Japanese. I think I got the accent down pretty well. One of the accents. I know there are some variations, but the most challenging thing for me to pronounce in English is not the. It's Hmm, which is it? Like I have something. I'm sure there's something that I find harder to express. I just need to remember what it is. I remember there was something that gave me much more trouble. When did you start? I started 8 a.m. Eastern time today, earlier than usual. My apologies. Cosme Marmol Delegado, saludes desde. Is that pronounced Jaén or Jaén? I'm not sure, but Spain, I guess. Gracias por los tutorials. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's my pleasure. I really enjoy making these videos and tutorials. Thank you for being here. Yeah, no worries. No worries. We'll catch it later if you want to. Mehdi, when did you start painting watercolor? Okay, 2015 is when I started, end of 2015. So that makes it about 8 years, almost 9, I guess. Linda, I'm so fortunate to catch this live. How to know when you're alive in the future? Usually it is 9 a.m. Eastern time, but maybe we'll shift it to 8 a.m. Eastern time. Thursdays is my usual. That's when I usually do it. I took a break because of moving, the mess we have here, the light and the move and everything else, everything together is just made. And the holidays, of course, we have holidays here. That's why. But it will be back to some kind of a routine every Thursday. Sharon, how long did it take you to master these techniques? Yeah, I think the mastery of techniques is rather fast. You see it once or twice, and then you try it 5 times. Eventually, you'll get it. Where it really becomes a little more challenging is, I would say, knowing how to use everything together in the moment of creation. So kind of throwing away everything else and just knowing how to put it all together by not following a technique. Because the paintings, again, I'm most proud of, the paintings that came out the best are those that don't have any real technique behind them. It's just me painting, if that makes sense. Vix Onyx, thanks for your time. Any chance talking about your brush or palette colors brand? Yeah, it's Mission Gold. It's a mix of a lot of Mission Gold. I think there's every Mission Gold paint in there, but I use the black, something like a quinacridone rose, something like a Pyrrole Scarlet, just a bit of it, Phthalo Blue, Ultramarine, Cobalt Blue, Lemon Yellow, kind of new gamboge orange color. I'm very can you give me a second? I have another phone call. Sorry about that. היי, מה נשמע? לא סגרנו את זה, אבל בסדר. אה, Sorry about that. I don't know why just everyone decided to call now. All day long, no, yesterday, no, not yesterday, not, just now. But in any case, yeah, sorry, it's something important for tomorrow. So that's the palette, right? We got the palette down. I use a bunch of paints. That's not the only paints I use. I use a lot of brands. I love a lot of brands. Um, but these are great. These Mission Gold are great. Marjorie sent them to me, and I love them. Well, probably, yeah. I'm sorry. I said I would do. I said I would do the another go on the first car, paint or die. Maybe I'll do it now real quick because the light is starting to disappear. Um, hey Suvik. Oh yeah, wait. I missed something. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Brush is a Skoda Barocco size 16. And yeah, that's it. How can I send you a photo of a painting I did? I have an email that you can send it to. This one. Send it over there, liron@lironian.com, and I will see it. And yeah, thank you so much, Linda. So let's do a real quick, let's go over it. I don't even know if I have an idea for what to do when I go over this one, the first one that is, but let's do it real quick. I think it will be more interesting than me blabbering. So let's do that. So, does the mic work? I think it's just let me confirm. Let me confirm. Yeah. So here we are. Honestly, I don't. Oh yeah, I need to add the actual thing. There we go. Yeah, so I don't know even what I would do necessarily. Like I can just carry this all the way to the end if I really want to. You know what? Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Let's see here. Sometimes I kind of lose it, and then I just go ahead and maybe I'll dry it a bit. I don't know. Sorry, you may want to lower your volume. Just gave it a bit of a drying. Sometimes I lose it, and then I just push the painting to be the final thing real fast and almost messy. And I feel like I'm almost there, so maybe that's what I will do. Let's see. Let's see what comes out. You can explore in the second wash too, so. Sorry, I don't talk too much. It's a bit hard to focus. I'm just gonna go over everything I did. I don't know why, it just feels like I want to go over it. I know I'm gonna lose all the flow from earlier. I may destroy it in the process too. But I don't know, I feel like that's the right thing to do for some reason. I'm gonna warm it up down at the bottom with some yellow ochre. Like so. Keep this relatively light. I'm probably gonna destroy this, but that's fine. You have to allow yourself to do this from time to time. There are some highlights here I don't want to lose, so just a bit of water maybe. This entire scene is super dark anyway, so we'll just. Yeah, that looks terrible. I think, I don't know why, I just kind of went a little impatient and carved out very aggressively this car. Let's do this here. Now, of course, I can. So let's use this as a learning opportunity. I'm going to use. I don't want to use. I don't want to use my gel pen. I want to use my white paint to work simultaneously, wet and wet, both in white and in just watercolor. So let's use this again for kind of testing out funky little things that you don't normally end up doing. So I'm just going to bring in some water, play around with the lightness, darkness. And then for the tires, I'm going to mix in a bunch of this opaque paint, put it on the tires like this, just to see what I can bring out. There's a bit of a highlight here, and just use the paint like so. A few of these highlights I'm just going to indicate that way. Mix it with some warmth here. Actually, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just testing things out. I could go vanilla and kind of get a few highlights and wrap it up, but I'm like, let's try it out. Let's see what happens. It's probably going to end up being a huge mess, and that will be a great way to complete this live stream, but that's fine. Some water there. Lifting a bit here. Lifting a bit back here. Help this opaque paint move just a little bit, and then I can kind of envelope it with dark paint, like so. Add these details in. Add some of the darker details to the front. There is like a beautiful dark here that, had I been more careful, I could have captured much better. Forget about the drawing being a mess. That's because I went real fast there. I do see a bit of stronger contrast there. And then what you can do is just spray tons of water on it again. And if you want to get a nice effect, you'll just do this, let it all run, kind of blur it out. I have no idea, honestly, what I'm doing right now. I'm just going crazy here. I'm going to add a bit of opaque blue here to some points. No real rhyme or reason to it. I'm just going with the craziness. And then I can even combine that with the white. Maybe that will help me somewhere here. I don't know. Just to get some interesting details here and there. See, I have no idea what that is that I just did, but I feel like it's done. I will probably do one more small thing here. Let's warm it up a little. Again, zero strategy here on my part. I just want to do this kind of something like this. I have no idea what I did here, but we'll let it dry, and then I'll take a picture and you'll see it better. It looks actually quite neat. Okay, now I do also have a front light here. Let me turn that on. 1 second. There we go. Everything is highly effective, as you can tell here. Everything is optimized. But yeah, um, we'll let it dry. You can't see any of the color nuances, but it looks quite good. I'll show it to the front camera and you'll see. Not with this light though. Okay, let's see if you can see anything here. No, you can't, of course not. Of course, I did a mistake here. Made a mistake turning on that light now. No, it's not pretty, but it does have interesting nuances. I'm gonna let it dry vertically, not vertically, horizontally. I want all the paint to flow. We'll see what happens once I'm done. It's a big mess though. Oh man, painting, not pain. Yes, okay, Paula, I get it now. Style of your paint is fun. It's funny. Ryan T, as far as mastering techniques, I feel one of my problems is that I'm constantly watching videos and don't spend enough time putting brush to paper. I need to watch less and do more. Yeah, it's not hard work really. It's just about doing it and finding your angle to enjoy it, so to speak. Indeed. Do you always use white? I use it quite often. Even in this one. Oops, I just dropped the painting on the floor. And yes, it did touch the floor. And yes, it did smear it. How nice. I told you everything that could go wrong today went wrong. Everything. Let me wipe the floor. This has been one of the weirdest painting sessions I've ever done here. Yeah, I kind of hate it. I can still work on it. Actually, I am missing a lot of the highlights here. Let's see. I'm a super painter. I don't even need my desk. I'll just do it here. I need to lift this detail here and a lot of the side of the car and a bit of this. This is better. I made it significantly better fairly easily. Sorry, I know you can't see what oops, I messed up now. There, I improved it in a couple of seconds. So I'm gonna let it dry like so. Hopefully it doesn't fall on the floor again. There we go. I even for this one that I wanted to show you that made the other painting drop. I only use the whites at the end here with the tiled floor. I haven't used it for anything else. Just small details here. The stitches. 99% of it was done without white paint. But yes, I like to use it a lot. And recently I've been enjoying using it wet and wet. It's an interesting thing I don't see many people do, so I enjoy it. John, good morning. I tried to say hi earlier, but I just came back to see if I could now. Oh, why couldn't you earlier? Because I was super busy with the process, or just generally? Let's see. Thank you, Fernando. It is my pleasure. I really enjoyed this. Just today, everything kind of messed up. Yeah, that happens, Nikki. It's okay. I dropped on the floor. Oh, my, you are live. 3:10 a.m. Insomnia pays off. Shall switch to Wi-Fi. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Hey, my friend. Hope you're doing super well. My good friend Guts. It's been such a messy stream. Sorry about that. Brave, yes. A bit brave, a bit dumb. La Reina del Sur. I remember you and that beautiful profile pic. Thank you so much, Nikki. Yue Lee. Well, I'm so lucky to log into YouTube and chance upon your live video. Yeah, a lot of people say that it's like luck, and this is more views than I've been getting recently. I know YouTube doesn't like to promote me lately, so doesn't Instagram doesn't like it. So people are not getting the content. I posted this paintings, this one that we talked about earlier. I Let's remove this. I don't need it right now. So I posted this one, and the ratio of comments to likes and reach is just. I've never had a post reach so many comments and engagement, but still not reaching actual people, like a lot of people. I don't know why Instagram is. It feels super dead to me. I have no idea why. It's so strange because a post that has it has about 40, 50 comments, and that's like meaningful engagement of people with the comment, and it has about 555 likes, which I just remember I saw that number 555, which a post that gets 40 comments would normally get like 1,500 likes. So that was super strange. I don't know what's up with Instagram. I don't know what's up with YouTube. It just kind of doesn't show stuff to people. But I'm happy. People have a pleasant surprise. The whole reason why I even got into this side tangent is people are surprised to see me live, even though for a long time I've been doing it every single Thursday, and still people would be surprised because it's the darn algorithm. Thank you so much, Nation. Boatful, it's fun and looks beautiful. Thank you so much. I'll scan it for you. Once this dries, I'll scan it for you so you see the true result, what it actually looks like. I'll scan. The second one is kind of representative of what it actually looks like, but the first one I feel like I need to scan to show you what it truly looks like. Nancy, good morning from Oregon. Thank you for being here. Fernando Pereira, happy you like it. Thank you so much. Nikki, nice to hear birds outside your place just before. Oh, yeah, there's a bit of that. Yep. Thank you. Toda raba. Says, doesn't know what I'm talking about. Great live stream. Thank you. I don't know. I had so many issues on my end, but I'm so happy to hear. I had to take breaks for like a couple of minutes to be on the phone, which is ridiculous. Oh, sorry, my name. Yeah, sorry about that. It's a rough time here. My day started kind of okay actually. That it got rough towards the latter half. But I'm sorry to hear you had a bad day too, and hopefully, I can help you forget that for a short while, if even only for a short while. And thank you for being here. Nikki, I'm thinking I might do that when I'm down at the wharf later. Take some photos of the boats and scenery and bring it back to paint. Yeah, that's the best. If you can remember how you saw it there, usually the paintings that you get are much more interesting. I find if you've been there, actually. By the way, I discovered a color recently that I'm in love with. Daniel Smith, Gray Titanium. If you haven't used it, check it out. Let's see. Daniel Smith, Gray Titanium. Let's see what it's all about. Oh, it looks nice. It's like a nice neutral warm. It reminds me a bit of John Brilliant and Titanium White, but looks like it's a variation on that. Really interesting. So it's almost could be a fast way to mix a gray warm neutral. Semi-transparent, granulating, non-staining. Cool. I don't use many granulating colors, but it looks really interesting. Pepe, it works for you. I discovered finally cobalt blue and all the it's kind of what do you call paintings that are mixed using it, I guess. So yeah. Linda, this is fantastic, especially for someone like me that needs to loosen up. Yeah, that's the goal. It's the loosening up to me is not the goal in and of itself, but it is the window to achieving everything else. That's how I see it. Nikki, damn it, dropped on the floor. Yeah, no worries, it happens. Linda, I've never used Instagram. Should not black be used in watercolor? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Use whatever color works for you. I did it for the convenience and speed. Plus, I don't know why the camera looks a little gray. Probably because I'm using StreamYard, and on OBS I can edit and make it look more accurate to life. But that's why I used black. Just thought I'd keep it quite gray and neutral, basically. Kristen, I'm happy to hear you're safe. Thank you so much. Yes, it's been rough, but we are safe. Darnell Heard, what a fun surprise to see you live. You're the best. Thank you so much. Sharon, what is your favorite subject to paint? I think it has to be cars by now, but I will say this. I think my favorite subject at the end of the day is the most personal stuff. So these are cars I took pictures of here around the neighborhood, which makes them more interesting to me. But if you look at this one once again, shoe rack, it is way more interesting for me to paint something like this that is a personal subject matter that speaks to me personally. It's in our house. I see it. I find that to be the most interesting. Now look at this section. It has some temperature variation in it. I actually am very pleased with how the right section turned out. A lot of these loose brush marks ended up working quite nicely, I think, um, and kind of be sent to the background, not take up too much attention, which is what I planned for them to do. Same with the door. That was a rough couple of washes and glazes. That was a tough one, honestly. Ryan, the Great Titanium is a variant of buff titanium. Okay, yeah, buff titanium is really similar to John Brilliant. It's the same pigment, but they toast it or something. It definitely granulates a lot. It has a warm yellowish undertone. It's really good for concrete. I love when you say they toasted or something. That's funny. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So yeah, I would say I'm gonna post later on a short, probably here on YouTube too, and on Instagram, showcasing this painting and a bunch of others. But yeah, if you want to see some of the details up close, we have all of these again stitching. I don't know what you'd call that. Kind of messed up there. You can see that. This was the hardest part, honestly. The Uggs, I think it's Uggs, were tough. This here was very interesting. I used a ruler, but very gently and very carefully, because it was a bit hard. I'm not used to working with a ruler with a brush. You hold it up in the air and kind of use the hard part of the brush, not the hairs. I'm not used to doing that. It was one of my first time doing it, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. As for the floor, yeah, a lot of it was interesting. It was done in multiple glazes. A lot of glazes that were flat before I even added the shadow. So the shadow, I wet almost everything, sprayed, and then with the brush, and then I added darks there, warm darks. But after that, right, it wasn't dark enough, so I went over color by color and darkened everything that's in the shadow. So I went ahead and darkened the browns that are in the shadow, here as well, here. Then all the green neutrals that are in the shadow. So that would be this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, with this one as well up until this point where it transitions back to a light. This one, all of them. I went one by one, color by color, strip by strip, and darkened them so that I could make the darks truly look darker. And that's the end result, something that makes a lot of sense, I think. I think this could have more sense in terms of not just a neutral gray. Could have probably pushed it in some other interesting directions. I could probably glaze over it and make it more interesting, like maybe a bit more warmth or coolness. Aside from this section here that did get a bit of variation. But yeah, overall, quite happy with it. Let's see here. Maiden of the Fields. I love your teaching style. You're interesting to listen to. Thank you. I've learned so much from watching your videos. Thank you, Liron. Much appreciated. Stitchery. Okay, yeah, stitchery. That's a good word. So yeah, no, it's still not fully dry, so I can't scan it yet and show you all of the nuances. Maybe I'll just kind of post it later on, either on Instagram and here or somewhere else, but you can, let me just go solo here. Yeah, so this is a little more accurate to real life, so you can see all the blue, of course, but then a bit of yellow nuances there. So I quite like that. There we go. That's actually quite accurate. Yeah, no need to scan. That's the thing. Here it is. If you're not looking at the screen, you can now take a moment to look at the screen and see it. I will probably upload it later on somehow, but for now, if you want to see it, here's your chance. It is in focus. I'm going to zoom out of it in a second. So look now, you got it? Good. So that's where we're at. And as for the first one, there we go. I love this. Again, this can be greatly refined. But for a fun experimentation, it's an interesting way to go. Kristen, I see your paintings on Instagram every day. Thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of people tell me they think I haven't posted in a while because they don't see the posts. So I don't know. I'm happy to hear you are getting them. That makes me really happy, actually. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I think we're getting close to wrapping it up. I have a couple of things to take care of. Still kind of in the mess of. We have a lot to do here, and we may end up moving again. So it's a whole story for another time. But I just really wanted to finally do a painting live stream. It's been a long time coming. And I want to do more. I'll set it up properly next time. I'll use OBS. Things are going to be way, way easier. I'm going to place a camera here so that you can see my face. This is not a technical issue thing. I just was lazy and I haven't gotten to do a live stream painting. And I said to myself, you won't see my face painting. That's fine. You'll just see me painting. But because of the lame angle and everything else, I kind of lost my focus there. And yeah, that may have hurt the demo, even though people say it hasn't. So super grateful to hear that. Sometimes, it's these things, just like our own art, we tend to judge a little too harshly. But yeah. So I think we're good. I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I know it's a little delayed, so probably some comments will come in a few seconds. I can show you just real quick. Right here. This is also an interesting bit of these dents in the wall and the frame of the door. This was quite all this chipping. This is quite an interesting set of details to add, as well as the highlights I talked to you about earlier. Kind of mixed something similar to a buff titanium to do that. It's so interesting how if you look at the camera right now, because the screen is in front of me, if I zoom in on the orange, I'm going to look orange in the video right here where you see me. But then look at what happens when I move over to the blue. I'll look cooler, which is funny. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, everyone who was here. Much, much appreciated it. Yeah, I will see you next week, probably with another live stream next Thursday, unless something changes, unless there's something unplanned, which may happen. My apologies. It's gonna. Sorry for yawning in front of the camera. It's gonna be a bit of a tricky next couple of weeks still. But yeah, the car painting got a bit dramatic tone, but I like them. Thank you. Just move here to Florida, then come to our portrait group. Oh, I love that actually. Not necessarily to move, but to come to the portrait group. That sounds fun. I mean, I don't get me wrong. Florida looks amazing. It's just moving is hard enough as it is. So moving from Israel to Florida, it's a big move. But thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Too bad I haven't gotten to visit Florida so far. I don't think I ever visited, not even as a kid. Yeah. But in any case, yeah. Thank you, Ryan, so much. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Hillel. Thank you, Vix and Nix. Nix. I'm gonna wrap it up for today. And yeah, we'll see you hopefully next week and in a video before that for sure. But in any case, take care until the next time. Oh, we have Castrisi Liron at the start of the year. I tried to get into watercolor and watched your videos throughout my watercolor journey. I'm not good at it by any means, but you've been an inspiration. So happy to hear. Thank you so much. I don't remember your username and profile pic, so this may be the first time I see you on a stream. So if it is, thank you so much, and I'm happy I could help. Take care as well, my friend. Take care, Ryan. Everyone, I will see you next time, next video, and next week's live stream.